L Hall Coaching does. So without further ado, if you guys could join me in welcoming this diva, this powerhouse, this phenomenal Tiffany, and don't forget the L Hall.
Can we move this podium for me, please? Because I need all.
No, Marcia, please don't.
Yeah, let the guys,
Full institution.
please. Because I need all the space.
Yeah, you do, that's right. Look at those shoes.
I don't like to be restricted.
I need those slippers.
Thank you. So after being here yesterday for day one, last night I had the opportunity to reflect. And reflection does something. So this being the first ever Ultimate Women's Expo, we know what's possible.
Yes.
Correct, agree?
Yeah.
So yesterday in your stories, you shared about coming out of valleys. And though all of us aren't at our mountaintop yet, some of us are still on our way. So I decided after prayer, after having dinner with some of my girlfriends and my daughter, that what I was going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about. So then I arrived here this morning, had on my Michael Kors heels. Y'all see what's on my feet? I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, those are gorgeous.
Had on my Michael Kors heels. I'm ready to go. And Grace stopped me. Grace tells me the story about her mother. It's her mother's birthday. Her mother made jewelry. So she puts this on me. I said, Grace, this don't go with my outfit. Grace says, but you look beautiful. I said, it don't go with my outfit. But you look beautiful. You got on it. I said, Grace, you know what? And I stopped in that moment and I said, God, I'm gonna go up here in this. It doesn't matter. That's right. So then I was sitting over there and I asked my daughter, I said, I'm taking these shoes off. And she said, I said, give me a slide. Give me a slide. First, I was sending her back up to the room to get some socks because I wanted some socks. And I said, well, give me your slides because my toes ain't done all that stuff. Anyway, so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, what is this message? What is this message? It's about purpose.
Yes. Come on.
All of us have a purpose. So this is what I want to tell you because Tina shared with you, my logo is my initials, it is TLH. So for the longest time, I was wondering, what did this mountain mean to me? I've never climbed a mountain in my life. I'm terrified. But this mountain meant something to me. And I became obsessed with this story. Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, they were the first to reach the summit of Mount Everest on May 29, 1953. Mount Everest stood at a height in 2020 when it was measured of 29,031.7 feet. To this day, no building stands as tall. The tallest building ever erected that might have even measured up was right here in New York City. Think about it. World Trade Center stood at a height of 1,775 feet. So the more and more I thought about this story, I thought about mountains. What is it about mountains? Why am I obsessed with mountains? So just a little backstory. On June 23rd, 2005, I was stabbed 7 times as a result of domestic violence.
Wow.
That story, that moment, had me in a valley. Imagine having to come up out of this experience. You build a life with someone and this happens. Imagine, what do you do? How do you come out of that? Then I looked at my faith. Psalm 23. Yea, though I walk through the valley. Yea, though I walk through the valley. I don't run through the valley. I I'm not sitting in the valley.
Come
I'm walking through. So what does through? What does through tell you? You're not meant to stay here. You're not meant to stay here. As someone shared, as Les Brown shares, if you can look up, you can get up. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you can see the mountaintop, you can still climb. I don't care what your valley low is, you can still climb. Now, for the purpose of what we're doing here today, I want us to hone in on our purpose a little bit more.
Yes.
Because I thought that my purpose was to speak about domestic violence for the rest of my life. I thought I was gonna be out here, I was gonna be this advocate, I was gonna become the face of domestic violence. God said, that's not your purpose. I was like, oh, are you sure? I had the business, I had the LLC established, I'm ready to go. This is what I'm gonna do. God said, no, you're not. No, you're not. This is not what I have for you to do. Well, what am I supposed to do? I had to get into deep conversation with God, deep conversation with myself, deep conversation with some coaches. And that's what I'm gonna share with you today. In coaching, this is what I do. I help you to hone in on your niche, to find your purpose, to find your message. And sometimes I'm gonna tell y'all that process ain't easy. Because as women, we're all over the place. What do they say? A jack of all trades, a master of none? We think we can do so many, as a matter of fact, no, we don't think. Let me correct myself. We know, and we are capable of doing so many things. But when you find your purpose, it will be that one message, that one thing that drives you. You can build an empire around your purpose. But what is your purpose? What is your purpose? So I want to tell you. One of the first things that I had to learn in discovering my purpose was change my beliefs. Again, remember, I thought that I was going to talk about domestic violence awareness. I was going to wear purple ribbons. I was going to October be purple. I bought a purple wig for a fundraiser, okay? Because I was sold. This is what I'm going to do. And then I started to listen. My son said to me, Mom, at some point, you're going to have to let that story go. I was like, what? He said, you're going to have to let that story go. He said, not everybody is a victim of domestic violence. Not everybody understands that. That's your story. As a speaker, think about this. Your purpose will be able to impact and transform anybody because that's what we do as speakers. So when you change your beliefs about what you're speaking about and about what you're doing, your purpose becomes evident. You'll be able to touch anybody's life that you speak to, any room that you speak in. So change your beliefs. Number 2, know what you know. I was talking to a friend and I was like, I know domestic violence. I'm comfortable there. As I worked through this process of trying to figure out what was my purpose. And she said, Tiffany, I think you're a lot further along than you think you are. So I stopped and I looked, I took an inventory over my life and I was reminded of something about myself. In 2006, I actually began speaking about domestic violence. I don't know how my story made the world news, but it did. I actually had a publicist from Atlanta who reached out to me. And she had me on all kinds of shows and it was great, but I wasn't healed. If they wanted to talk about them, I was telling them everything they wanted to hear. Until I got a call from Dr. Phil's producers. Dr. Phil's producers sent us a list of questions that they wanted to ask. And I said, are they crazy? I'm not answering their questions, not realizing this is what I had put out there. Now, all of a sudden, I don't want to answer the questions. So I took a step back. And I said, you know what, maybe speaking isn't for me. I have two wonderful kids, they were doing good in school. I got so involved in parent involvement. How many of you know what National PTA is? The largest parent-teacher association in the world. I was chosen by National PTA because I was so actively involved at a state level and a national level. I got to go to McDonald's University. McDonald's actually has a university, and they train their upper level management. PTA was creating resources for their chapters nationwide, and they were using parent volunteers to be these resources. We were trainers. We had to go into Chicago and we had to pick a training and we had to demonstrate this training, and they certified us on a national level. And I was like, okay, I'm good at this, I love this. Until I went back home, I stopped traveling as much with National PTA, and I got involved at a state level with another organization. And this other organization, we were traveling statewide. We were all over the state of Pennsylvania. And one day, well, we had a conference, not one day, we had a conference every summer, and we presented, again, volunteer. I presented at this conference, and lo and behold, we have an opportunity to become 1099 employees with this organization. We could solicit school districts and we could have our own businesses. Now, this was 2009. I submitted the application to become a consultant and I wasn't chosen. I was like, oh, okay. I was devastated. I just so happened to go on their website. My national PTA presentation was there that I had presented one summer with someone else's name. If I had known Attorney Chevelle at the time, she would have made a call. She would have made a call. But my presentation was there with someone else's name. Again, I was devastated. So what? Look, I know that's spicy. I know that's spicy. I know some people there. I know some people. So what ended up happening was, I began to take inventory. Know what you know. When my mentor, Dr. Nicole Price, said to me, she said, "You're further along than I think you are." I began to look at all of this. Volunteer work counts in making you credible.
Yeah,
It counts in making you credible. So I looked and I was like, wait a minute. I was this national PTA trainer. I was this, somebody else took my work. Wait a minute, I am that good.
Yeah,
That's right.
you are.
I am that good.
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
are.
I am that good. I had to understand, I had to know what I know. Last but not least, shift your mindset.
Yes.
It is opportunities like this, despite how this expo started all yesterday. Despite everything that happened, despite any doubt we had, shift your mindset.
Yes.
There were so many opportunities for all of us at this conference. We've all met women that we've never met in our lives before. We all met women, whether it's our businesses, whether it's our personal lives, who have changed us. When we leave New York, whenever you leave, not until Sunday, but whenever you leave, you're gonna leave change. Shift your mindset. Look at things, look at your purpose, look at what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And again, it will all start to make sense. So for me, my valley moment was, I am a survivor of domestic violence. My climb to the mountaintop is to show other women, listen, you have a purpose. You have a purpose, you just gotta hone in on what your purpose is. And I'm telling you, when you figure out what your purpose is, climb.
Yeah.
Do not stop climbing. I don't care how bad it gets. I don't care what it looks like. There's a point along the climb of Mount Everest known as the death zone. Just above 26,247 feet. When climbers enter the death zone, because of the sudden change in altitude, breathing becomes labored, your lungs become starved for oxygen, your circulation of blood, your heart pumps and attempts to circulate blood throughout your body. Oh, I am a nurse. One of the very first things that we were taught in nursing school were ABCs that are essential for living: airway, breathing, and circulation. So what that tells me is when you reach the death zone, the lack or absence of one of these decreases the chances for living. How many of you have found yourself in your business in a death zone?
Oh, yeah.
That's what happens with us as women. We find ourselves in these death zones because we're looking this way, we're looking that way. If you would stay focused on your purpose, which is at the mountaintop, you will continue to thrive.
Yes.
What I want us to do in the last couple of minutes that we have, who's the timekeeper? Oh, it's my lawyer. One of them.
You got 25 minutes.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Go.
What I want us to do in the time that we have left, I love her. Oh, I love her. In the time that we have left, because this conference is null and void if we don't do this.
Yeah.
Okay? In the time that we have left, I want you to do something for me. You don't have to do it at this very moment, but I need you to do this. I need you to, on purpose, meet somebody in this room that you didn't meet yesterday. Please, because this is about networking. Look around, I know, I feel like I'm looking up like I met everybody, but I can see at least one person I didn't meet. But I need us to walk away from here connected. I need us to know as women, especially like-minded women, when we come to places like this, it is necessary for us to connect. It's necessary for us to walk away here, change, transform. If your message, if what you're speaking doesn't transform somebody's life, you need to call me because you need a coach. And we need to figure out what your purpose is. But your message should transform somebody. Your message should change somebody. I met my friend here, Lord have mercy.
Yes.
She came in and she sat beside me yesterday. One of the things, and I'm gonna be transparent, if you're okay with that. One of the things, because we know Gwen is based in India. And Tina said it time and time again, we didn't go to India, they came to us.
Yes.
They came to us. So again, you know what happened with me as I thought about it? Sir Edmund Hillary, Tenzing Norgay, the first to reach the summit of Mount Everest.
Come on, Tim.
We are the first.
Come on, ma'am.
Yeah.
We are the first. So I know my purpose is on target.
Yes.
Everything that has happened as a part of this conference has confirmed for me
Yes.
that the mountaintop, my purpose, my message, to keep climbing,
Yes.
to keep climbing. But with that being said, sometimes our barriers limit us. And one of them could be language, but it's a mind thing. I had the pleasure of her coming and sitting beside me. By the end of the day, y'all, she was popping up in selfies with us, and she was in selfies with us, and she was like, wait a minute, here, take my camera, take a picture.
That's global, right?
That's
Yes.
global. That's global. There was some language, you know, but it was okay. I took the time and I figured out what I needed to figure out, as well as we're friends on Facebook now, and we understand that. But guess what I found out about my sister here? She's a cardiologist, y'all.
Yes. Yes.
She ain't no slouch.
Right.
So when you take the time to get to know somebody, you never know how they would bless you.
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
She had me, we're talking, I was like, wait a minute, we're the same age. You a cardiologist, I should have been a cardiologist. But just the opportunity through conversation, through getting to know somebody else, that's what sisterhood is about. That's what opportunities like this are about. So again, in my last 20, I'm down to probably 20 minutes now. 21. I want you to take the opportunity to meet someone you haven't met. Take the opportunity to just simply get to know somebody in this room. It's important. It's important. So next year, are we going to Kenya next year?
Yes. Yes.
Or So they said it, we're gonna be in Kenya next year for the conference. I didn't say that, so if y'all on Zoom, Mayor Lexington, Shrooming, I didn't say it. But wherever we are next year.
Dr. Tina, we said.
Dr. Tina D, my sister Lewis, said we're going to Kenya. With that being said, I want y'all to start making arrangements now. Because next year I need to see double the size of this conference. Believe it or not, this conference was powerful. This conference was life-changing for me. Everything I'm taking away from these 2 days, it was because of all of you. All of you have fed me in some way, and I thank you for that. All of us, in our valley moments, again, remember the mountaintop, the climb is possible. It's possible. Tina, I am handing this back over to you. Don't bother her.
Did she take you to the mountaintop? You are phenomenal. You are absolutely amazing. And the words that comes out of your mouth will bear fruits. Those are seeds. And I know that it's been planted in each and every one of you. And so we have a cool request. The request is that if Tiffany L. Hall, if she has given you hope, given you inspiration, if she has motivated you, if she has caused any chains to be broken or anything that she said, if it resonated with you, do yourself a favor. And I did say yourself a favor because becoming her client is not doing her a favor. It's really will impact your life. And I am asking you to just, if nothing else, book a call. Book a call with Tiffany. Because what she said here publicly, it was powerful. But could you imagine what happens behind closed doors when you're one-on-one with Tiffany? She lets it all loose, you know? She lets it all loose and she personalizes it. I'm a firm believer that there's no such thing as one size fits all. Can you guys say no? One size fits all. Say no, one size fits all. It doesn't. So it's not a generic, it's personalized and customized. Tiffany, I thank you for taking that customization and that personalization into your business to give to your people. You're amazing.